Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to continue with the series of the K-pop experience, what it's like to feel different and to be in different roles in this industry, what it's is the experience as an overall or some traits that we can see like in a general and like in a very common base. Of course that it doesn't apply specifically to some groups or some members or some idols. It's just like an overall view about the K-pop experience and what it feels like actually to be part of this industry in the different roles that you play. So today I wanted to take this idea from someone in the comment section that they gave me the recommendation of doing a video about what it's like to be a Maknae. Because we were talking about the leader experience, so now it would be nice to see the Maknae's the Maknae's point of view, what it's like to be the Maknae, or what it feels like, what their responsibilities, and also the advantages of being a Maknae. Of course, I think we have seen a few Maknae's behavior, especially when it comes to how they behave around the older members, about respect, also about having fun, and about sometimes being this kind of daredevils of the group. But it's not in specific. Of course, we can have different kinds of Maknaes because we are different people, so not everyone is going to be the same. So today I'm using again the Oracle of the Chakras, because what I'm trying to do here is not actually catching a specific episodes about what's going on with the Maknaes in the industry. I think I'm using it more in an energetic way to see how they feel fulfilling this role and what it is about. So let's go with this Oracle of the Chakras that is really beautiful and profound to see these kinds of information. So the first card that we got for them, it's the instinct, gratitude, rejection or rejectment. I think it's rejection in English, I'm sorry. Discouragement and culpability. So as I can see here already in the spread, there's like a lot of ups and downs when it comes to the good and the not so good, like the positive and then not so positive, and the bright and the not so bright aspect of fulfilling or of being a Maknae. So the first thing that it's very prominent actually in what it is like to be the younger or the youngest in the group is the instinct. Is that I think that it has to do that everything they learned, they learned it through their instinct. I think that they tend to be these young men and females that they tend to be very perceptive, because they are always observing others in order to follow them or in order to learn from them. So this is why they are always on the watch. They are always observing. They are always paying attention, and they are very like self-aware in the fact that they are being told that they need a lot of improvement, that they need to grow up, that they need to change a lot of things about themselves, that they don't know a lot of things yet. So it's like this constant reminder that they get. So this is why they are very hyperly aware of their surroundings and what's going on, and that it's like they're always ready to go. It's like they don't have any structure. I think when they are in the process of learning something, they just go with the rest of the group. They don't, when it comes to work, when it comes to learning something, they don't put much resistance to learning. They are not like, okay, let's stop here, or raising their hand and being like, oh, I don't understand this. Like, I want us to do this all over because I didn't get it. They don't have that kind of permission to be like, oh, I want to do this all over again because I don't think I got it right. They don't have the authority to do it. This is what I think. So, and they are also very like embarrassed, or they are very shy when it comes to asking, especially being like in the first years, or if they are really young. There are a lot of things, not only about learning their craft and what they have to do, but also about life, about people, about social gatherings, about interacting with others, about answering questions in an interview, about presenting themselves to the audience, to the fans. I think that everything that they learn, they do it through the instinct, because they are in this state of their very young years, of their very like teenage years probably, where they are absorbing everything around them. So this is why probably a lot of Maknaes, they tend to be really sensitive and really perceptive and very good at absorbing information. It's not that they got lessons, or they get like some kind of book or guide to be like, okay, you need to follow this through, and you need to do this and step 1, 2, and 3. No, they just need to follow the rest, and they have to do it so fast, and they have to get in so fast that they don't have time to be like, oh, I'm going to organize my thoughts about this task, or I think I want to know more about this. No, 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 no. They just have to go along with what the others are doing. So, and the other card is gratitude, which I think that it's very loving, because actually two of the cards here, actually a lot of them are cards that they talk about the crown chakra and the third eye chakra. So these are very spiritual chakras, in the sense that they are like in the part of our higher self and our connection with the universe. This is why I think that they definitely need to be very sensitive, or at least this is how they feel, compare themselves to the other members. They feel always like very vulnerable. They feel very sensitive when they compare their experiences to others. They feel so small. They feel so little if they compare themselves to others. It's like there's a bit of them actually feeling like they will never be good enough. I think that there's also an aspect of disbelief, that even when they grow to become into really successful men, and they have their own not their own fandom, well, it could be solo fans, fandoms are everywhere, but in the sense when they gain much more popularity, or probably like when it comes to the other members, they are in this state of disbelief, of being like, oh, wow, me, I'm getting all the attention, like, wow, like they act like they are really happy with the result, but there's a part of them that doesn't really understand, because they are still in this state of, I'm not good enough, or I'm not there yet compared to the others, because it's like they always feel behind. They always feel behind when they compare to others. So this is probably why they are so competitive. At least you see them like they have this very competitiveness, and actually it's because there's like this this kind of inferior complex, you know, that no matter what they do, they always feel inferior. So this is why they're always like looking to improve, but it's like they never get that satisfaction, because in their minds they are still the young, innocent, or inexperienced trainee, for example. And here with the gratitude card, it means that they definitely are very aware that everything that they had learned and that everything that they had gained when it comes to experience is of because of the group, because of the other members. I think that they are very aware of this, and I think that this is something, this gratitude, it's something that they will always cherish in themselves. This is why I think that they probably, despite of sometimes people labeling, putting labels on them and being like, oh, the evil Maknae because they're always playing with the members, or they're always like playing around with the members and annoying some people. Like, actually, they are very they feel a lot of gratitude, and I think that they are so grateful to have them that they there's not a part of them that is actually like very like cocky, and that they would be like, oh yes, I made myself, or I'm this way because I worked hard. No, actually it's because they place all this gratitude to them other members. It's like they are so influenced by the other members, and the other members are such a mentors and teachers of life and of the profession for them, that they will never let go of this feeling of gratitude, and they really mean it. It's not this is why probably they can be a bit mischievous in some aspects, or being playful, especially like always like defying or trying to like have these kind of silly competitions with the older members, but actually there's always this sense of respect and gratitude. And here with the rejection card, there's also this fear of what happens if I go solo, or what happens if one day the group is no longer with me, or what happens if one member has to go, or one member is absent, or we disband, or each of us are doing different things. So there's a fear of rejection, in the sense that these people, Magnes, actually they fear that if they do things on their own, that they would feel rejected in some way, because they don't see their capacity to actually do things on their own. It's like, for them to be a solo artist, it could be, obviously it could be presented to them, and it can be a possibility, but there's always this fear of rejection, and this fear of being like, oh, I'm not going to be good enough if I present myself as a solo artist, or if I go on my own. Because I think that they do play with the possibilities, and sometimes they don't have other options, because, for example, I don't know, if some members are in the military, for example, and you have like 2 members left, of course that the Maknae is probably like the one that sometimes is the most popular, so the company obviously pushes the releases of their solo things, but there's a part of them that don't feel really comfortable with performing or working on their own, and being shown as individual artists. I think that there's a part of them that also fears being on their own on a stage. I have the feeling that there's not also the fear of rejection, but I feel like there's a sense like this, also this complex of inferiority, of feeling like without the group or without the other member support, you are nothing. So I think that this is what happens. They are so attached to the group's synastry and to everything that they had learned and observed, that if they have to think about their individuality and about who they are outside the group, sometimes they do have a lot of unconscious fears. They have a lot of unconscious fears, and they have this fear of, if I'm on my own, I don't know if I can give, if I am good enough, or if what I want to deliver is good enough. because they depend on the energy, and they depend on the feedback, and they depend on the collaboration of the other groups, because it's like they are made by their members' energy. So if they have to present themselves on their own, it's like they can do it, but eventually they want to go back to the group. They want to go back to the members and be like, oh, did I do it right? Oh, they need this feedback from the others, because it's like the group makes them, so makes their their essence as an artist. So if if they are on their own, there are moments where they fear, and they want to get back to the group. It's like there's also this fear of being alone. I don't know why, but there's this fear of probably like being on stage alone. Like they could potentially at the beginning suffer from like a stage fear, you know, to be in a stage, to be exposed by their own, because they are, I don't know why, but they are always surrounded by the members, and they're like brothers, you know, and they're always like looking at the members. They're always looking around, and they're always absorbing that energy. So when they don't have it, they are like defenseless, you know. They don't have it's like they don't have a defense. It's like as if they were walking out there naked or something like that. But because they feed so much from their co-workers' energy. So, and then we have the card of the discouragement. So this is also, I think that there's also a lot of moments where they want to be probably a bit rebellious, and there are moments in their adulthood, and there are moments in when they start to develop their own identity, or probably when they start to separate a bit from the group's dynamic, and when they start to feel a bit reassured about how good they are doing for the group and for the company and for the fans. So they somehow gain this kind of confidence. So then they start to feel a bit like trapped. You know, the same feeling of gratitude actually turns into discouragement, in the sense that maybe sometimes they want to do other things, or they want to take other risks, and somehow it's like they feel like the members are like pushing them, you know, like being like, no, don't do this because this is not right, or because this is not the right time, because this is not good for us. You have to think about the group. And there are moments when they feel discouraged by the same group. So they go through these periods where they feel like they have to somehow be a bit more aggressive when it comes to making their petitions heard, or if they have some request, they have to speak a bit louder in order to get heard, because it's like for the company and for the rest of the members, they are always like the babies of the group. So it's like they feel discouraged whenever they have like probably like, I don't know, a good idea, or they have like an opinion, or they have like a very strong opinion or a very strong feedback that they want to say or do, and somehow they're like, no, let's listen to the others talk. And they are like, because of they are the youngest, they are always like pushed to the side, and they hate it. And sometimes they do fantasize with leaving the group, or with actually thinking that if they go, that the popularity of the group wouldn't be the same, or that somehow they are the reason why the group is doing so well. And sometimes they are right, but it's like this moment of jealousy, or this moment of pettiness, when you feel like you are not being heard, or you are not being seen. So you become a bit like aggressive and on the defensive, because you're like, okay, I have the same rights, I work like everyone else, why is no one listening to me? Or why is no one taking into consideration what I feel or what I want? It's like there's always comes to that moment of rebellion when they start doing things that the other members never did. For example, I don't know, if the other members never got a piercing, for example, a ear piercing or like a different piercing in their skin, they will get it, or tattoos, they will get tattoos. I mean, they will try to do something to differentiate themselves from what the others did, because they are like, okay, but I want to show you that I'm important, that I matter. You know, it's like it's like when you are the youngest in the family, that somehow you start like doing you start creating chaos, because you want them to pay attention to you, you want them to look at you, you want them to take you into consideration, because you are no longer in this instinct mode, because you already absorb everything. Now you want to do something with your own experience, and you also want them to understand that you are not going to be a simple sheep, that you are no longer going to be following them around, that you can stand out for yourself, stand up for yourself, and be like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, listen to me. I'm part of this, and I have a say in this. So sometimes they do have these moments of rebellion, and sometimes they feel like the group or the people around them discourage them, or actually like prevent them from doing what they want, or like they feel restricted in their freedom. And at the same time, we have the culpability, that is the last card. And the culpability card, it talks about them being reckless, and them sometimes without intention, but in this sense of being rebellious. Sometimes they get into trouble, and sometimes they do some things that it affects the group, so that they end up feeling very guilty then, and they feel really bad about themselves. And it's like they feel there's something about them that they definitely, and it's hard for them, since it's the last card, it's really hard for them to let go of culpability. It's really hard for them to be like, forgive themselves, because it's like the group and the people can forgive them, but they somehow don't forgive themselves. They are really harsh on themselves. So they have this tendency of feeling guilty for everything, and very sensitive. And this aspect, they can also carry this to their personal relationships, especially if they, I don't know, if they enter a relationship with someone, they could potentially be like manipulated by this person, because they tend to feel guilty just for existing, you know, because it's like they want to be free, but at the same time they always depend on the other. So every time they form like this close relationship with someone, they always feel like they have to make things right. So if they don't, they feel really guilty, and sometimes it can lead them to being manipulated or being blackmailed by someone that they care about, because it's like it's really easy to actually see that they are very naive in that sense when it comes to social interactions. Or if you, for example, if you are their friend or if you are their partner, and if you start like watching their behavior, you will realize that they still remain in this very childish mode. Even they can be in their 30s and still having this self-awareness, or this like be very on alert about making a mistake. They are like, oh my God, I don't want to mess up. Oh, I don't want to. Oh, I don't want to make you feel bad. So they are always apologizing, and they are like chronicle apologizers, because they're always apologizing. They're always saying sorry for small things. So it's like it could be easy for actually someone manipulate them in relationships, because they have this fear of rejection. And they also, with this gratitude card, they feel like they are very lucky to have people that support them, and that actually taught them everything that they know. So they are really grateful, and sometimes this can lead them to be a bit naive about other people's intention. So this is why sometimes they tend to maybe trust strangers like too fast, or get close to people that they just met really fast, and they can get in trouble because of this, because maybe, I don't know, that a stranger is not a good influence, or they don't have the best interest in their heart. So and also them being in this rebellious kind of mode, it maybe if some member or someone from their families or someone comes and is like, oh, you need to pay attention who you hang out with, because you have to pay attention, you have to remember that everyone is watching you, and they just get into this rebel mode of being like, oh no, I'm going to do whatever I want because I know. And then they sometimes, when they realize that they had been wronged, or that they had been, I don't know, maybe some friends or partners, someone betrayed them, then they realize that they made a mistake. So then that's again this feeling of culpability, of really thinking that they should have known better, but that they didn't. So there's always this feeling that they need like this mentor, or that they need these people to come in the end and be like, oh, I told you so, I told you not to do this. So they do have, even though they can grow and be really like matured men, actually in their mindset, in their behavior, there's still a glimpse of this immaturity, and also of this fear of not being good enough, and not of always being in this, like, when they compare themselves to others, it's like everyone is wiser than them, or that everyone knows a lot of stuff about life that they don't know. So they do have this inferiority complex. So they do need to care. They do need to take care of their own. They do need to work a lot on their self-esteem, to be honest, because it's hard for them to actually get out of this, because it's like patterns that they develop in order to function, in order to be productive, and in order to be good at what they do. They don't reflect a lot about themselves. They choose to follow others. So this also translates to their relationships and their choices that they do in these relationships. So this is all I have for the Maknae experience. So if you do enjoy it, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't. So thank you so much for being here, guys. Bye.